Now, Ivy, you were telling us,
Yes.
issues arising from this 3 million debt and then why the terminal was shut down. And how long had warnings been issued to the management of McDan Aviation Terminal 3? Terminal 1, I beg your pardon. Yeah, that's Terminal 1. That's the private jet.
We have in our hand a letter from the MD for Ghana Airport Company Limited, written as far back as July, demanding payment for rental. And
Okay.
of course, I'm sure you have the letter in your hand as well. Subsequent to that, some other letters were written, and those financial obligations had not been met. We are told by the union that it supports wholeheartedly this decision taken by management of the Ghana Airport Company Limited. And it's actually sending out a caution to other partners to Ghana Airport Company Limited who have some debt obligations to honor with the company, that if they don't, the same fate that has befallen McDan Aviation is expected to befall them as well. So as much as possible, it takes them honor those financial.
But Ibrahim, did you cite anybody? I mean, you're standing right in front of McDan Aviation Private Jet Terminal. Have you spotted anybody that you've been able to engage?
Well, if you come here, really, instead of being allowed access to the facility, you'll be met with presence of two policemen, right? Two policemen who then tell you that the place is under lock and key, and nobody is allowed access to that facility. Now, what happens is that if you know Kotoka International Airport very well as a viewer, you will realize that Terminal 1 used to be the terminal for the domestic flights. Exactly. And then what has now become Terminal 2 was for international flights.
Yeah.
Now, that has been moved to Terminal 3. International flight moved to Terminal 3. And so, therefore, the Terminal 2 has now become the terminal for domestic flights, right?
Yeah.
And so Terminal 1 then became a terminal for private jets operated by McDan. Now, if you are still within the facility of Terminal 1 and you want to access, you have to go through Terminal 2 as we speak, because the place has been locked down. And so, therefore, there's no activity whatsoever. In fact, I've attempted seeing whatever is happening at Terminal 1, which used to be a hangar for private jets. So, on a regular day, when you come to Terminal 1, you will find the McDan aircraft, branded aircraft, parked there, of course, at the hangar, and some other private jets as well. Yes, some of them are still there, but there's no movement whatsoever relative to this particular terminal. And that's quite unconventional, given the fact that we are
does that mean they are equally owing the Ghana Airports Company Limited?
Yes, by way of rentals. This particular facility was rented from Ghana Airport Company Limited. And we are told that as at the time, it was not only McDan that expressed interest. There were many others, including Emery. So McDan won the bid and then was given this particular terminal to use in operating his private jet business. And so therefore, there is supposed to be payment for the rentals every year. And that's what we're talking about. Aside that, they also talk about the fact that there were some lands that were given to the company to use in its activities. So payment for those lands have equally not been done. And we are directed to the land belonging to the Ghana Airport Company Limited at the Action Chapel International, that's Quintus Road, along those lines. And that's where these pieces of land were given to the company to use in its activities. We told that payment for those particular pieces of land have equally not been made. That's what sums up to the tune of a little over $3 million. We are told, and this is according to the divisional union chairman for the Ghana Airport Workers Union, Alhaji Abdul Bamba Sak.
Now, Ivy, in your earlier submission, you talked about the fact that they are sending warnings to other companies as well. Are you aware that there are other companies who are going to be shut down in the offing?
Well, so we have the three shops that have always come up for discussion, and I'm sure you are aware that some private individuals were given access to these shops to manage and operate. They are equally expected to be making payment to the Ghana Airport Company Limited. Again, we have commercially important passengers, CIP, which has been a facility that has been very controversial because the workers of the Ghana Airport Company Limited have always argued that they have the capacity to be able to operate the CIP. And I remember doing stories in that regard, and that government should not give the management of or the operation of the CI to any private individual. They have the knowledge and then the know-how to be able to operate. Just so the revenue will come to the Ghana Airport Company Limited. The engagement I have with the leadership of the union. They argue commercially important are passengers where they pass. You know, when you come here, we have the terminal or the entrance where you and I use whenever we are traveling.
Yeah.
We also have a VIP terminal, right? We have the terminal where the ministers, the president use, Jubilee. But then we have another one, which is the commercially important passengers. They are the people with the huge purses, right? And the pouches. And so they make payments when they access these facilities. And so therefore, the union has always been arguing that this is a revenue that can best be managed by the workers of the Ghana Airport Company Limited. So there was no need bringing in a third party to manage. Nonetheless, that's what happened. So what the workers are saying is that if there are debts in that regard, the operators of the facility must honor those obligations. Otherwise, they will lead management in shutting down every other facility and every other operator who owns the Ghana Airport Company Limited and is refusing to honor those debt obligations.
Ibrahim, thank you very much. I'm sure that, but in all of this, I mean, you talk about public workers union. Have you heard from the Ghana Airports Company Limited themselves?
Well, what I know is that the MD led this operation. She issued out the directive for this place to be shut down. Our engagement has been with leadership of the union here. But then the leadership of the union has equally been in a constant engagement with the MD, who issued out the directives this morning that this place must be shut down because she's been making constant attempts to get McDan, the company, to honor these debt obligations and pay these arrears. That has not been forthcoming. And so it is the union that is throwing its weight behind this management decision and going ahead to offer the caution that if there is anybody else who has monies belonging to the Ghana Airport Company Limited and that entity doesn't pay, it will wholeheartedly equally support the action of management to clamp them down and then lock them down until these payments are made. So yes, I've not personally cited or seen or engaged management of the Ghana Airport Company Limited. I've equally not seen any worker of McDan or staff of McDan. But what I know is that, as you can see behind me, the place has been shut down. And there are 2 policemen who have been stationed here to enforce and ensure that nobody gets access to this particular facility. Probably until those arrears are paid.
Financial obligations are made. All right, thank you very much. That's Ibrahim Alassan there, man on the ground.